Dessert is gonna be pure comfort food. Apple crisp in a skillet. I'm gonna cook some apples. I've been slicing them. They're Granny Smith apples. And I'm gonna stuff the skillet pretty full. The apples are gonna cook down eventually, so I wanna start with a really good amount. I had a little butter in the pan. Oh, butter and apples. Talk about comfort food right there. All it needs right now is a sprinkling of salt, and I'll stir them around and let them cook for about 3 minutes. The apples have been cooking away. They're getting nice and juicy. Now they need some sweetness, so a couple of tablespoons of brown sugar go in, and vanilla, a healthy splash. For the crisp, I want the apples to have a little bit of thickness, so I'm gonna add a lemon juice, cornstarch slurry. All right, I'm gonna turn this down. And speaking of the topping, that's what I'm gonna whip up now. It starts with 3/4 of a cup of flour, 1/2 cup of brown sugar, 1/4 cup of regular sugar, and just for flavor, a little bit of cinnamon and nutmeg. Sprinkle in a little bit of salt. I'll start smushing it around. All right, I've got some cold butter. I cut it into pieces, and I'll sprinkle it over the dry mixture. Any crisp topping worth its salt definitely has butter in it. Okay, this is the moment. I'll sprinkle the crumb topping all over the top, and I want it to get down there in the cracks and crevices. Oh, if I had a fork, I would eat these apples right out of the skillet. They smell so good. That is perfect. I'll cover the skillet with foil. I'll get this into a 350-degree oven. It'll bake for 15 minutes with the foil on, and then I'll take the foil off and let it go for another 20 to 30 minutes. Now, in my world, there is only one way to serve up this apple crisp. I can just taste it right now. It needs nothing more than a big scoop of vanilla ice cream. To make things easy, I'm actually using a loaf of frozen bread dough. These come in regular loaves, and all you have to do is just thaw them out and then put them in a bowl with a little bit of olive oil, cover them with plastic wrap, and just let it rise. It takes several hours, so while the pizza itself is quick, you definitely want to allow time to thaw out the dough. So I'm not even rolling it, I'm just stretching it, acting like I'm a serious pizza maker.
Try to spin it on your finger.
I'm not very good at that. So I'm roughly matching the size of a cast iron skillet because I'm gonna make this pizza Bianca in a cast iron skillet. Okay, Paige, you wanna come with me to the oven?
Yep.
So the secret to a cast iron pizza is you wanna preheat the cast iron skillet. So I have got this oven on 500 degrees, and I've been heating the skillet for about 20, 25 minutes. I mean, there is not much on earth that's hotter than this. So the first thing I'm gonna do is take some garlic olive oil. This is just olive oil that's been infused with garlic, and I'm gonna drizzle. Listen, it's sizzling. That is one hot pan. So then I'm gonna take the crust. You ready?
Yep.
Lay it in the pan. I wanna get it up to the edges. And then the whole point of this is to start that crust really sizzling. So I'm gonna put this on a towel since it's so hot. But look how good this looks already. It's already sizzling. I'm gonna drizzle on more garlic olive oil. All right, now I've got 2 kinds of cheese. Low moisture mozzarella, and then I'm also using Asiago, which is amazing. And if you get some little shreds of cheese up against the side of the hot pan, no worries whatsoever. They'll get nice and brown when the pizza cooks. I'm actually gonna put on just a few little mozzarella balls, just here and there. They'll sort of melt in circles, different colors of white for the pizza Bianca. Okay, so now it's gonna go back into the oven. And the cool thing is, the oven's already on 500 degrees, and the pizza itself is going to bake at 500 degrees. Now the pizza just needs to bake for about 12 to 14 minutes. Smells amazing. Ooh, it's kind of a puffy pizza Bianca. Listen, How good does this look? Wow, 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 wow. This is sort of a deep dish type of cast iron pizza, but look at this. Because the cast iron skillet is so well seasoned, it just comes right out. What a gorgeous pizza. What do you guys think?
So
pretty.
So I'm gonna sprinkle on some shaved Parmesan cheese. So just to give it a little extra special touch, I'm gonna drizzle on just a little bit of truffle oil.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Truffle oil is your
It's
favorite?
a delicacy, yes.
Yeah, you can drizzle it over French fries with Parmesan, but it's pretty strong, so you don't have to add very much, but just a little drizzle. And then a bunch of basil. How gorgeous is this pizza Bianca? I say we cut this up.
Yes.
Wish me luck. I'm going in. Splendiferous.
Wow, that is a 10 out of 10.
Oh,
Perfect on the bottom, amazing on the top, melts in your mouth. You can't beat that.
but do you like it?
I love it.
We're making layered skillet brownie sundae, and they are out of this world good. So brownie mix, eggs, milk, and butter. I'll do the milk, you do the butter. And then I will stir this. Actually, while I stir this, you can start putting the cookies in the skillet. So what you want to do is just lay the slices of cookie dough and then press it into a single layer, okay?
Gotcha.
And I'll race you and see if you can get that done before I get the brownie mix mixed together. So Stu, like Mauricio, is not big on sweets. Is this an accurate statement?
It's true, but me and Paige have been eating a lot of candy lately, so.
Lodi.
And is there an end to that story?
Nope,
or-
that's the-
okay, it's just
So
that.
now I am kind of into sweets.
Okay. Well, like what kind of sweets do you like? Like layered skillet brownie sundaes, for instance?
That would probably be my first choice. And then from there, cakes and ice
Cake.
cream.
Cupcake.
Oh yeah, cupcakes.
Well, this is seriously good. This is like an incredible skillet full of brownie goodness. So we used a roll of chocolate chip cookie dough bought in the store. Nothing to be ashamed about. The brownies are mixed together, so I'm gonna put those over to the side for now. Okay, so this is a layered skillet brownie. So we are going to add a layer
like it.
of chocolate sandwich cookies, we like to call them. You can just eat that one. Okay, so now this is kind of fun. So I'm gonna squirt caramel, like kind of in between the cookies. Do you wanna do that? Just kind of fill in the blanks.
Ooh. All right, that should be enough.
Okay, good. And then just gonna plop the whole brownie mix right on top. Oh my gosh.
This is what I'm looking for.
And then I'll let you spread that, Stu. So you wanna get it out to the edges.
What do you think?
That looks good. Now, the only thing about baking this, Stu, is you have to have patience.
Oh no.
It takes 45 minutes
Oh no.
at 350.
You're gonna make me wait?
But the good news is, I already
No
baked one
way.
for you. So I not only did that,
Here, look at this.
Oh my gosh.
but I also scooped out some ice cream because I
You
know
are too good.
patience is not your strong suit. No offense. And some sprinkles. I like to decorate it with chocolate sauce.
Cherries?
Hold on.
Okay.
Can't have cherries without the
Whipped
whipped cream. Aw, Stu. Great job. High five.
What
You
a
did
blast.
it. Looks amazing. Fall chicken skillet. So I just cooked some pieces of pancetta so that I could get some of that beautiful grease going in this skillet. So I'm gonna turn the heat up just a little bit. And for this chicken skillet, I am using my absolute favorite cut of chicken thighs. And not just any chicken thighs. Chicken thighs with the bone in, the skin on, the works. Nothing better in the world. So I'm gonna make a seasoning mix with cumin, smoked paprika. I just wanted to make sure I had the right stuff. And salt and pepper and stir it together. And then I've got the skin side up, so I'm gonna start by seasoning the first side of the chicken thighs. Don't be alarmed if that gets a little bit smoky. You want it to be hot, because I'm gonna put it skin side down. Okay, I am gonna get this chicken in. You know what I love about chicken thighs is that they're actually cheaper than chicken breasts. And I have never understood that because they're so much more delicious. All right, so I'm taking the rest of this seasoning mix and sprinkling it over the second side. So I am gonna cook this chicken for probably 3 or 4 minutes on the first side, and then I'll turn it over and do another couple of minutes on the second side. So I'm gonna add to the skillet red onions and garlic. And then I have a mixture of sage, rosemary, and thyme that's finely minced. So I'm gonna just give it a stir and let that garlic really start to cook. I could just stand over this mixture forever. So I've got some other veggies to add. Brussels sprouts, raise your hand if you love them. Cauliflower, and butternut squash, which, I mean, when I started cooking, you had to get like a chainsaw to bust into a butternut squash and prep it yourself. Now you can just buy prepped butternut squash in the produce section. So to this mixture, not that I'm complaining, of course, added some salt and pepper. All right, I'm gonna cook these veggies for about 3 minutes. Don't go away. I'll be so lonely. So the stove goes off and the chicken thighs go on. And here's what happens. So you put the chicken thighs on top of the veggies, and this is gonna go in the oven, and basically the fat from the chicken and the juices just kind of trickle over the gorgeous veggies, and so the flavor when this is all done is through the roof. And you definitely want to make sure you get all of that juice in there from the plate. So before this goes back in the oven, I'm gonna top the chicken with a little bit more of the chopped herbs. And we're gonna go to the oven. I have a little surprise for you.
Ooh.
I bet you can't guess what it is.
Whatever could it be?
First of all, get a look at this before it goes in the oven.
Wow.
The chicken's not fully cooked, so it finishes cooking on top of the veggies. So this goes into a 375-degree oven for about 25, 30 minutes, and this is what it looks like. It looks about the same.
Oh my gosh, no.
But everything's done. So I'm gonna show you how to serve this. I did a little swap just because I thought it'd be fun. And I actually am gonna get in there and show you like just the beautiful veggies underneath, and just they're coated in that gorgeous chicken flavor. One more teeny little sprinkle of the herbs. You don't want to go overboard with them at this point because we have a lot in the dish. Balsamic glaze.
Yep.
You're kidding.
Yep.
I just think it adds kind of a little touch of elegance. And pomegranate seeds, which again, you can buy these in little deli containers in the produce section. Just kind of sweet and tart little nuggets. And then last but not least, I would never, ever let this pancetta go to waste.
Oh yeah.
So here's what you do. You serve the individual portions onto plates, and then everybody can grab a roll and like dab in the pan. Sausage and pepper potato skillet. So I'm adding a bunch of onions and peppers to a skillet with a little bit of olive oil, and I'm gonna give them a stir. So I've got green bell peppers, orange bell peppers, and red bell peppers, and then just sliced white onion. And then for the taters, aren't these adorable? They call them marble potatoes because they look like a bowl of marbles, but they're just baby potatoes. There's red, purple, and Yukon Gold. And I'm just gonna add about half of this bowl. I don't need all of them. There we go. And the great thing about baby potatoes is just how short of a time it takes for them to cook. And that can be the only thing about using potatoes as part of like weeknight cooking. Sometimes they take a while to get done. Not so baby potatoes. Okay, look how cute. I'm gonna add plenty of salt and pepper because they are in fact potatoes and they require it. So I'm just gonna stir these around for 3 minutes to start the cooking process. All right, check it out, Paige. We're making progress. Everything's starting to cook. So for the sausage, I'm using kielbasa, just a big old sausage, cut it into little coins. You can do a smoked sausage. You could even do like a sausage that has cheese if you want. Any kind of sausage you prefer is just fine. And then, love this next ingredient. A cup of beer. Hello. Sausage and beer, they just go together. Is that a cup?
A little more.
There you go, that's a cup. Okay, and then, forgot the garlic. I was gonna add this earlier. Minced garlic. To really drive home that beer and sausage theme, I'm gonna add some grainy mustard. That was a good 2 heaping tablespoons right there. And then I'll stir it into the liquid, toss everything together. Okay, looking good. Oh look, one sad piece of sausage is still in the bowl. All right, I love the look of this so far. So now I'm gonna put the lid on the skillet. Now I'm gonna let this cook for about 8 minutes until the potatoes are tender. Alrighty, let's take a look, Paige. Ready? Ooh, I love this. It's just kind of a hearty, pepper-centric, flavorful skillet, and it's all in one pot. So to kind of bring in a little healthful component, I'm just adding some torn kale. This is totally optional, but I love it because it doesn't really fall apart like spinach, but it wilts just a little bit. All right, so just toss, and as that kale starts to wilt, it'll just pop with the brightest green color. I absolutely am in love with this. Okay, I'll serve it, and I will just prove to you what an awesome one-dish wonder this is. Those little baby potatoes are perfection. I want to get one of each color. There we go. Ooh, I love it. And then sprinkle on some parsley. Winner, winner, potato dinner. So I'm adding some sliced Yukon Gold potatoes to a big skillet. I had some melted butter in there. Sprinkle with salt and pepper. Now, there's nothing complicated about this potato recipe, but it does kind of go in stages. I'm gonna add some very thinly sliced onions, and you want them to be thin because you want the onions to have plenty of opportunity, not just to soften, but to really, really cook with the potatoes. Okay, so now I just have to stir and start cooking the potatoes and onions. I'm gonna do that for about 6 to 7 minutes before I move on to the next stage. Okay, so the onions and potatoes are starting to soften. So for the next stage of cooking, I'm gonna add some garlic. And then I'm gonna add quite a bit of heavy cream because scalloped potatoes is definitely a creamy recipe. All right, and then I just need to stir a little bit just to make sure all the potatoes and onions are all coated in the cream. So now I'm gonna put the lid on and let it cook for another 6 or 7 minutes. All right, I'm gonna turn the heat off. This has been simmering away. And look, I'm not even gonna stir it at this point because the potatoes are looking absolutely amazing. They're very, very tender, and I don't want to create kind of a mashed, mushed potato situation. So this is getting ready to go into the broiler, but first, I'm actually going to add some strips of ham. And this is totally optional. You can also do cooked bacon if you want. Scalloped potatoes and ham.
It's a classic.
I mean, music to Alex's ears right there. And then a whole bunch of sharp cheddar cheese. And by whole bunch, I mean all the sharp cheddar cheese I could find in my fridge. But that's what scalloped potatoes are all about. At least in my world, they are. Scalloped potatoes, by definition, don't actually have to have cheese, but in my world, they do. All righty, now let's get this in the broiler, under the broiler, I should say. And there's really no hard and fast time. I'm just gonna put it in there and watch it, and then I'll pull it out when the cheese is melted and bubbly. I have high hopes.
Wow.
Oh gosh, look. Ooh, that's perfect. I wanted to kind of get it past that initial melted stage and make sure that the cheese and the edges of the potatoes got a little bit of brown.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know what to say. Now, it's perfect just like it is, and the great thing about this dish is that you can pull it out 30, 45 minutes before dinner and it'll still be perfect. It's actually a little better if you let it sit before you serve. But to serve, I like to have some fun, and you can wait and do this right before or just do it straight out of the oven. Big old pile of sour cream and a whole bunch of sliced green onions. And then it's almost kind of like a baked potato, scalloped potato, casserole, whatever. But how good does that look? Skillet chocolate cakes. I'm just sizzling some butter in a saucepan. I'm actually making the icing first because I want to give it time to cool. So to the butter, I'll add 3 tablespoons of cocoa, and they're rounded tablespoons. And then some milk. And I'm gonna whisk this together until it starts to gently bubble. Okay, this chocolate mixture is good to go. So now I just have to mix all of this in with a whole bunch of sifted powdered sugar. So it literally just goes right in. All right, this icing is done. Everything's mixed together. So I'm gonna sit it over here to the side, let it cool while I get the cake going. I can almost make this in my sleep. It is so simple. So the dry ingredients come first, and that is flour and sugar, equal parts, and a pinch of salt. And I'll stir the dry ingredients together. And then I'll mix the wet ingredients in a separate pitcher. And it's buttermilk, a little splash of vanilla, baking soda, and an egg. And then I'll beat this together. All right, so that's the dry ingredients, the wet ingredients, and now I'll make the chocolate mixture for the cake. Lots of chocolate in this recipe. So I've got another saucepan of melted butter, and I'm adding 2 tablespoons of cocoa. This is very deep, rich, unsweetened cocoa. And I have some boiling water hanging out, and then it gets poured in, and I'll turn the heat up and whisk it just until it starts to boil. I like to pour this mixture into the dry ingredients just to cool down the chocolate. So even just a few stirs kind of gets rid of that heat a little bit. So now comes the buttermilk egg mixture. And I'll just kind of stir gradually as it gets worked in. So now I'm gonna pour it into individual iron skillets. So I'll just pour an equal amount of batter in each skillet. Okay, these cakes are gonna bake at 350 degrees for about 10 minutes. So the cakes are out of the oven. They look incredible, deep, rich, and chocolatey. And I have the cooled icing in a piping bag. So evenly distribute it among the cakes. So with regular sheet cake, pecans go in the icing itself, but I like to also sprinkle them on the outside. So I'm gonna make breakfast totchos. Let me tell you something, guys. These are gonna change your life. So basically, I baked the tots according to the package directions, and they're nice and crisp. And what I'm attempting to do, but not doing a very good job, is mound them kind of in the center. So they're sort of gathered up. That's perfect. So now I'm gonna top with Monterey Jack cheese. And basically you wanna just cover the tots completely, just like you would nachos if these were tortilla chips. I have made like buffalo chicken totchos. I've made like pepperoni pizza totchos. I mean, what's the world coming to? Bacon.
Ooh.
This is the first little hint of breakfast. All over the cheese. And then get a load of this. You're not gonna believe what I'm about to do. Jalapeno slices. Oh gosh, and you wanna get it on the cheese, so when the cheese melts, it kind of just becomes one with it. Oh, I love pickled jalapenos.
Mm-hmm.
And watch this, there's a little juice, watch.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now you're talking.
Green onions sliced, might as well get these going too. And then I'm gonna put these back in the oven, so come on, Alex.
Ooh.
I would just eat these with a fork as they are right now. So I'm gonna put them back into the oven while I get the eggs ready. So let's go do that. So I'm gonna make sunny side up eggs because they look beautiful and because then you'll have some egg yolk to kind of crack all over the nachos. So I've got a skillet with a little bit of vegetable oil, and watch this, Alex. I'm just gonna crack 4 eggs right into the oil. The pan is not too hot because I want to kind of cook them slowly just until the whites set, but while the yolks are still really runny. You can do butter if you want to. Vegetable oil is kind of a little bit more of a classic way to do sunny side up eggs. They turn out really clean and beautiful. All right. And I didn't crack a yolk. It's gonna be a good day. So I'll season them with salt and pepper. Sorry, Alex, I got in your way there. Salt and pepper. And then I'm just gonna kind of cook these over medium heat until the whites are totally set and the yolks are just barely starting to set. Don't leave me, this is gonna go fast. Okay, Alex, take a look at these eggs. You see how the whites are totally set? There's just a tiny bit that isn't. So I'm gonna turn the heat down and I'm gonna go back to the oven.
Okay, so.
You ready, Dookie? Oh, these look so good. Oh, Alex, look. Okay, so come in here and get a load of this.
Oh,
Cheese,
baby.
bacon, jalapenos. Honestly, I could just dive in right now, but there's more to add.
Guacamole.
So, to my totchos, I will add guacamole, just here and there and everywhere. You can also serve this on the side if you prefer. I just like it to be a big pile of just sin and craziness. Pico de gallo, sprinkle. I love it. Sour cream. Sour cream. Look. Oh, I'm so happy right now. This looks splendid. Okay, so then look at these gorgeous eggs. And you can have like a paper towel nearby and just to dab all that, dab the oil off. Oh. Okay, so watch this, Alex. Ready? Oh, slippery. Oh gosh. Pretend you didn't see that. I just tap it a little bit to get the excess oil off. What about right on top? But how pretty is this?
Wow.
And put it on the table, serve some guests,
Looks amazing.
serve your hungry guests. That's gonna be me at your house someday.
That's
We'll
right.
make this for
I'm
you.
Make
I'm
it.
actually investing in my future by showing you guys how to make all of these.
It's true.
Okay, and the last egg. Oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. And just to send things over the edge, some fresh cilantro. I don't like to chop cilantro. It should be celebrated. It's natural beauty, natural leaf. What do you think, guys?
It looks amazing.
I think
So good.
it needs more pico.
Yes, I agree.
It needs more of that beautiful red. Breakfast tachos. I don't know about you, but this may be my new favorite thing. I'm making beef noodle skillet. If there is one recipe I know will always be a hit, it's this one. I've just been cooking some onion and garlic in a little bit of butter, and the onions are getting nice and soft. So this is a good time to add the ground beef. Just a pound of ground chuck, and I'll add some salt and pepper. And then I'm gonna turn the heat up and just crumble this beef and cook it until it's totally browned. This recipe actually has a funny history. One time when the kids were all small, I said, let's go to the grocery store and you guys can pick whatever you want for me to make you for dinner. And you know what they picked? I'm not gonna name any names. They picked the box that comes with a seasoning packet and a bag of noodles. You know what I'm talking about. You add it to ground beef. So I've been trying to make a good homemade version of the box mix ever since. I think ground beef is one of the best proteins when it comes to budget-friendly cooking. If you have teenagers to cook for or a big family, you can buy packs of ground beef and it doesn't break the bank. Okay, that is totally browned. So I'm gonna add a good spoonful of tomato paste. The tomato paste just adds a little bit of richness to the sauce. So I'm just smushing it around on the skillet, mixing it in with the beef. And then remember that box product I told you about? One of the cool things about it is you put the noodles in without even cooking them first. So I'm putting egg noodles, 12 ounces, into the skillet. Now for the liquid, I'm gonna add about 2.5 cups of low sodium beef stock. And then I'll add a teaspoon of smoked paprika, a good squeeze of grainy brown mustard. Trust me, this is all gonna make sense before too long. A few dashes of Worcestershire sauce. Then I'm gonna add a little more pepper because the noodles and the beef definitely need it. I'm gonna stir it. And then I want the noodles to have enough liquid to cook. So I'm gonna add some hot water, about a cup to start. And while it's cooking, if it looks like it needs more, I can splash in a little bit more. And then stir it and make sure all those spices are worked in. So I'm going to reduce the heat to low, and I'll put the lid on, and I'll just let it simmer for 12 minutes, stirring it a couple of times along the way. Okay. It's time for the big reveal. Let's see what happened in here. Oh, it looks wonderful. Now you can totally serve it as it is now. It's pretty much finished, but I like to add just a little bit of creaminess. So I'll add some sour cream, and how much you add is totally up to you. It just depends on how creamy you want things to get. And just a splash or two of cream. It's sort of a stroganoff idea, but more budget friendly. And then I like to chop up some chives and just sprinkle them over the top. They make it a little bit prettier and they sure add some good flavor. All right, chives go on. It's nothing fancy, but boy, is it delicious. You've got to make it soon. I promise your whole house will love it.